Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Faith Chats, where our topic is always faith, family, freedom, and America. Today, my guest is Psalm 101. Well, one part of it anyway. Angela Fulkerson is here. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Andrew. It's an honor to be here.
So, to start off the conversation, for those who are unfamiliar with Psalm 101, share with us a little bit of background.
We are a husband and wife that started in 2003 doing music and ministry. And then about 7 years ago, our 15-year-old, well, he's now 15, son joined us on drums. So we're a live band again with piano, guitar, and well, I should say keyboard, guitar, and drums. And we do a lot of original music. And we play churches about 3 to 4 weekends out of the month. And we've been doing that. We celebrated 20 years of ministry last year.
Wow, 15 years old. It seems like the last time I interviewed y'all, he was just a kid.
They grow up fast.
And quote me if I'm wrong, he was the drummer for your ministry or still is the drummer?
Still is. Yeah. He started playing just a few songs with us when he was about 7, 8, and then he went full time. As soon as his feet could touch the pedals of the drum, he's our full time drummer now for the past 5 or 6 years.
Wow. So to begin, where did gospel music really come into the picture for you? And who were some of your earliest influences that really inspired you to be who you are today?
Oh, that's an easy question. I was born into a ministry family. I'm a preacher's kid and traveled all over this country doing all the music in my dad's revivals and camp meeting and church services. And oh my goodness, this was back in the 70s. I'm giving my age here. I have to say, one of my biggest influence was the original Hensons. They were, I had every 8 track. Then we moved to cassettes, but the Hensons were a huge influence. And then just singing in church, my parents, my mom, my brother, they were the biggest cheerleaders and influencers of gospel music in my life. And then got married, and my husband became my full-time music partner, and we just love this. So my family, I have to say, is my biggest influence.
That's awesome. So I hear there's a new project on the horizon coming out on November the 7th. Share with us a little bit about it.
Yes, we are so excited. These days they just don't make albums as much as they used to. So we are finally fixing to send out a single. I guess we'd call it an EP. It'd be on all of our social platforms. It's an original song I wrote with a friend of mine, Cindy Jo Graham. She's an amazing songwriter. And we both felt like we had the same style as far as really raw, honest, vulnerable songs to write. And this one came out exactly the way I hoped it would, straight from our heart. And it's called While I Wait. And it's a song about whatever you're waiting for God to do. He's given you the strength you're going to need, whether it takes days, weeks, months, or years. God's got everything under control, and He gives you that strength while you wait. I love this song. It's encouraging to us, as well as we've been playing it live now for the past several months, and it's been such a blessing in our live concerts.
So, has there been a particular cut on this project that has ministered to you or brought you through a trial?
Well, the last song that we recorded, called "Let Me Cry," was another original song. Sometimes it's along that same line. Sometimes God doesn't fix it right away, and He just listens to you cry, and He hears your heart's cry. And it reminds me of how He, we shed the tears and they fall, and sometimes they feel like there's a puddle of tears. But you have to remember that God holds all the rivers, all the water in the palm of His hand. And even if our tears are like rivers, He's got everything. And so that song, "Let Me Cry," is one that's ministered to us the past few years. And then the new one, "While I Wait," it's more of an upbeat song about hope and joy and faith and God getting you through whatever you're waiting for.
So, is there a song on the EP that you're most excited about releasing?
This one, while I wait, we're excited about this one. Um, Lyrically, of course, it's a blessing, but musically, it's a little closer to the style that we love to do. We call it country gospel, but it's a little bit more of the '90s, kind of early 2000s, if you remember that era of country music. So it's stylistically the way we like to play live. It's got guitar solos and lots of fun things going on musically. So it's a fun one that we play live.
So, what's been a memorable experience for you while you've been traveling on the road?
Oh my goodness! So it depends. Let me narrow it down to funny ones or most heartfelt.
Well, you can
um,
share a heartfelt one and then you can share a funny one, whichever one comes to mind.
I tell you what, I'll do a funny one first. We were playing a church that were celebrating their pastor appreciation, and they had a lot of stuff going on. They had candles and all kinds of flowers everywhere. Just a beautiful celebration. And the pastor's wife got a little too close to one of the candles that was lit, that was up on a stand, and her hair caught on fire. Now, it's not
Oh.
funny at the moment, but later we all laughed about it. They quickly got to her and put her hair out. But I was like, wow, the fire of God was there that night. So that's something we'll remember. But heartfelt is anytime someone comes down to an old-fashioned altar and gives their life to the Lord Jesus Christ. And there's been countless um, instances where we knew God was dealing with someone during a song or during the performances, and they finally just let go, and they take those few short steps down to the altar, and their life is changed. I never get over that. I never take that for granted, and I don't want to ever take it for granted. It's a beautiful thing.
So, did y'all get to attend NQC this year?
We did not. We're way down here in Florida, and we were booked, the weekend before and the weekend after, so we just couldn't make it work. But maybe next year.
That, I didn't get to go either. Being on dialysis, Ti-
Oh,
time is time is always, busy, busy, busy. But
yep.
so, what else is coming up for you? Any new tours or anything that you would like to share?
Actually, yes. I'm also, I shared with you that I came from a ministry family, and my dad retired a few years ago, still preaches occasionally and goes out and ministers to people. But I'm almost finished. Well, actually, I'm finished writing a brand new book. It's called
Oh wow!
My View from the Piano. So it's stories and testimonies of things I've seen over the years, um, from standing or sitting at the piano, looking at the audience or the congregation, and watching them get blessed, and the stories they've told me over the years of healings and miracles and families being put back together. And so I put all those in a book, and it's called My View from the Piano. And I'm hoping it's going to be available the first of next year, 2026. And we are planning to do a tour along those lines of bringing in my parents would get to be with us, and we're going to have people sharing their testimonies on the screen and old pictures of 50 years of ministry, and how God has not changed. If he did it back then, he can do it for us today. And the testimonies and the stories in the book have been so encouraging to people, and we've seen God move in modern day stories from people just reading the stories from the past. And I'm loving that. So yes, new book, a new tour in 2026 along those lines of the book. Oh my goodness, there's just so much going on. We're writing new music, fixing to go back in the studio again. So we just keep things going. God keeps giving us stuff, things to sing about. So you got to keep singing.
So, what's some of the highlights that you share in your book, My View from the Piano?
Oh my goodness. One of the stories is let me pick one. Well, you hear all the time people say Jesus can heal the blind eyes. Well, when I was 13 years old, my dad was running a revival in South Georgia, and a blind man came to that revival every night. Now, he was legally blind. He had the walking stick that was painted red on the end, and his wife would lead him every night into the service. And that revival went on for 2 weeks. Back then, they had revivals. It was normal to have a 2-week revival. So every night of the revival, after the preaching, he would have his wife lead him up to the front, and he would get prayer for his eyes. Well, by the end of that 2-week revival, he went and got his driver's license.
Oh, wow.
That proves God heals. And I got to see that. I was 13 years old. I'll never forget it. But every night of that revival, his vision was getting more clear. And by the end of the 2 weeks, he went and got his Georgia driver's license. So
So,
God's amazing.
so is there one story that you share in the book that has really boosted your faith or helped you get through? Like remembering if this person got through that storm, I can get through what I'm getting through.
Absolutely. I guess there was another there was a gentleman that came to one of revivals when I was a teenager, and he would only stay for the singing. He would never stay for the preaching. He never liked to hear the pastor preach, and it wasn't because he didn't like it. He just had never experienced church. He had never been a Christian. He was a race car driver, and he was, kind of big and burly and just one of them bad dudes. And he would come to hear the singing because his wife and daughter would invite him. But he would always get up and leave the service every time the preacher would start to preach. Well, one night during the revival, the Lord started moving during the music. And you could see him again. It was from my view of the piano. I could see him, and he kept wanting to get up to leave. But at one point in the service, I watched my dad go off the platform, and he walked to the double doors of the church, like at the back entrance. And he just laid his hands on those doors and prayed. And at first you're thinking, what is he doing? Then he walked back up to the platform, and he says, if you need God, I invite you down to this altar right now. Well, I watched that man. He got into the aisle, and he turned around to head out the back door, but he couldn't get out the back door. When he got to those double doors that Daddy had prayed for, he turned around and ran down to the altar and gave his life to Jesus. And, you know, I back up, and at the beginning of that revival, his wife and daughter had prayer for him because he was not a nice man at home. He was mean. He was, um, and they would beg God to save him. So to see that God answered their prayers in just a moment from somebody obeying God, it just lets me know that God can do anything. He can save anybody, and he answers prayers. He truly does. So there's all kinds of stories like that in the book, and I can't wait for people. Maybe we can do another interview when the book comes out.
That sounds great. So, what about a testimony that you've heard about the song "While I Wait" or the other one "Let Me Cry"?
Oh my goodness. I've had so many people email and let us know how those songs have touched. But I'll talk about While I Wait. I had a grandmother come up to us at one of our concerts. We had just finished, but we had done that song, and she come up to me. She said, "How did you know what I was going through?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She goes, "That song you wrote, the words fit my situation perfectly." And she said, there's been times I wanted to give up and quit praying for my loved ones because I felt like God wasn't listening. But she said after the song, and of course it was the Spirit that touched her heart, it's not us.
Right.
She said that she felt like she got the strength to keep on believing, keep on praying. And there's a line in the song that says, as long as I've got breath in me, I'll keep fighting on my knees while I wait. And sometimes that's all we can do for our loved ones or for a situation. It's just to pray and keep asking God. You know, He says to knock and the door shall be open. So sometimes we have to keep knocking, but we have to believe at the same time. So that's one story, but there's been so many of people also sending the song to a loved one that needed some encouragement. And so that blesses me as well.
Well, share with us how we can purchase the new project when it comes out or your book.
Oh, I would love to. Well, first of all, I guess the easiest would be our website, and that's psalm101music.com. And it's Psalm, like in the Bible, Psalm music.com. And if you go there, it'll take you to all of our social platforms, but you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have a YouTube channel, and the song will be available on November 7th to all of the platforms, wherever you download or stream music, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all of it, including our YouTube channel. Will be the best way to find it. But we would love for you to listen to it, download it, stream it, whatever you got to do. But the book will also be available next year on all of those platforms, as well as Amazon. So we're excited about that.
Well, thank you so much, Angela, for your time. God bless you, and I look forward to the next time we can chat.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. And blessings to you as well.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.